Even though polls today show a large majority of Americans supporting the notion of marriage between people of different races, Mo Rocca remembers a time not so long ago when the very idea made headlines.
You're supposed to break the glass that you're drinking from.
To Margaret Peggy Smith, it was just an ordinary wedding, except that it wasn't.
This is very heavy. This is because Time magazine was a big deal back then. You're on the cover of it.
Yeah.
Did you know you were going to be on the cover before?
No. We had no idea.
This was the marriage between 22-year-old Guy Gibson Smith and 18-year-old Margaret Elizabeth Rusk. And they didn't make headlines just because Peggy was the daughter of Dean Rusk, the Secretary of State during 2 administrations.
Miss Rusk and Mr. Smith had obviously thought long and hard about the consequences of a mixed marriage.
The coverage spells it out, an interracial wedding. The year was 1967, which turned out to be a big year for the topic.
Mrs. Loving, what has been the worst part about all this for you?
Well, I guess the worst thing that was spending a little time in jail. That's the worst thing.
Only months before, in Loving versus Virginia, the Supreme Court unanimously struck down laws that banned interracial marriage. Before that ruling, 16 states had laws against racially mixed marriages.
The Loving versus Virginia case, were you following that at all?
No.
Were you even aware of it?
Vaguely.
Peggy and Guy married that September. But the subject was so controversial that before the wedding bells rang, Dean Rusk made his own proposal to President Lyndon Johnson.
Is it true that your father offered his resignation?
He did. Pop was concerned that my marriage was going to make things more difficult for President Johnson, and Johnson said, forget it. Didn't bother Johnson at all.
Peggy had grown up in Scarsdale, New York, until her father was approached to work for President John F. Kennedy and moved the whole family to Washington, D.C. A 14-year-old Peggy spent many of her afternoons riding horses in Rock Creek Park. The assistant instructor, a Georgetown University freshman named Guy Smith.
Well, he was cute as a bug. So we all had a crush on him.
But it was Peggy who Guy asked to a dinner banquet.
I said, well, I have to ask my mother. And then he says, would it be all right if I came to your house tomorrow afternoon and I asked your mother if I can take you to the dance?
This way, there would be no surprises.
Right.
Your mother would know that she was saying yes to you going to a banquet with a black man.
Right. I thought it was brilliant.
Dr. Prentice, I'm so pleased to meet you.
I'm pleased to meet you, Mrs. Drayton.
Only months after Peggy and Guy married, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner opened in theaters.
He thinks you're going to faint because he's a Negro.
Well, I don't think I'm going to faint.
Sidney Poitier plays the black fiancé to Catherine Houghton's character, with Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy as her mom and dad.
Would you think it was some kind of cowardice if I told you that no matter how confident you two are, I'm just a little scared?
No, it wouldn't. But you never know. Things are changing.
I think I only saw the movie once, and I was actually kind of bored. This is the picture that Guy kept on his instrument panel the whole time he was in Vietnam.
Shortly after Guy and Peggy got hitched, Guy shipped off for Vietnam. Mr. and Mrs. Smith would eventually settle down on a farm, raise a daughter, and enjoy the company of horses for 44 years, until Guy passed away in 2012 at the age of 67.
I was holding him, and his last conscious words were to apologize for leaving me alone.
You can see the press here.
Yes.
To this day, Peggy Smith says she still doesn't get what all the fuss was about. After all, hers was just an ordinary wedding, even if it wasn't.
We didn't get married for any reason other than the fact that we loved each other. We weren't trying to prove anything, change anything. Sorry to be so boring, but that's the truth of it. You know, it's like, we just loved each other.
For more on this and other stories, Mobits, Mo Rocca's tribute to our dearly departed, wherever you get your podcasts.